Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Tuesday, the 9th of December. Voters in India's Jammu and Kashmir defy terror threat, come out in large numbers in third phase. Imran Khan's PTI observed shutdown in Pakistan to protest killing of activists. And Gilgit Council a complete failure, say locals. The assembly completes 5-year term. And now for all the details. India's northern Jammu and Kashmir defied all terror threats as region registered nearly 60% voter turnout in its third phase on Tuesday.
The brazen terror attack that struck the town of Uri last week couldn't dampen the spirit of voters here. Amid heightened security following the incident, hundreds queued up before polling booths from early hours, braving the Himalayan chill to exercise their franchise. People said despite the threats, they came to vote for a better future.
हम इस चीज़ की मजम्मत करते हैं। हम चाहते हैं हमारा ये उड़ी इलाका जो है खुशहाल रहे, सरसब्ज रहे, यहाँ के लोग तामीर तरक्की में आगे जाएं, रोज़गार के वसाइल इनके लिए बढ़ें। इसलिए जो है कि मतलब ज़्यादा तादाद में यहाँ के लोग वोटिंग वगैरह में निकलते हैं।
The fate of 146 candidates across 16 constituencies was sealed by 1.3 million voters on the third phase of Kashmir polls on Tuesday. Many high-profile names, including incumbent provincial chief Omar Abdullah and 3 of his cabinet colleagues, were also in the fray. High voter turnout was recorded from Budgam as well, where Abdullah is seeking re-election. Residents also expressed happiness over an impressive number of youth coming out to cast their franchise.
आज देख के बहुत खुश हुआ कि हमारे यंग मैन इस इलेक्शन में पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं और उनको ये है कि हमें एक एजुकेटेड नुमाइंदा होना चाहिए जो हमारी रहबरी आगे अवान में कर सके और इनकी मुश्किलात को दूर कर सके। तो इसलिए ये हर एक का फंडामेंटल राइट है कि वो किस नुमाइंदे को चुनता है। ये एक एजुकेटेड यंग वोटर्स पर डिपेंड होता है।
Following record turnouts in the first 2 phases, which saw over 70% polling in all the booths, militants had last week unleashed a string of terror attacks in the province, killing at least 11 Indian security personnel. Jammu and Kashmir is voting in 5 phases to elect the new provincial government. The results will be announced on December 23rd.
Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf or PTI observed a day of mourning on Tuesday across the country. This came after a PTI activist was killed in clashes with Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's supporters on Monday.
PTI supporters enforced shutdowns in blocked cities across Pakistan including Karachi, Lahore and Islamabad on Tuesday. Protesters also took to streets in Multan, Gujarat, Gurjanwala, Sialkot, Peshawar and Hyderabad. The party has been taking to the roads since late on Monday after a PTI supporter was allegedly shot dead by a guard of the son-in-law of Punjab's former law minister Rana Sanaullah. Clashes broke out on Monday as part of the first leg of PTI's nationwide shutdown, which began from Faisalabad. Khan said even the police stood with the supporters of Sharif's Pakistan Muslim League despite the violence.
ये बुज़दिल लोग हैं, पुलिस इनकी हिफाजत करती है, पुलिस खड़ी है सामने गोलियां मारा है लोगों के अंदर और उसको कोई आम आदमी पकड़ रहा है, पुलिस ने कुछ नहीं हाथ लगाया। पुलिस का क्या काम है? पुलिस का काम है कानून देना।
Imran Khan has launched a nationwide shutdown program as part of what he called his Plan C of the protest against the Nawaz Sharif government. Khan has been since August holding demonstrations in capital Islamabad opposing the alleged vote rigging during the 2013 general elections.
Taliban's continued attacks on Afghan security forces have reinforced the problems facing the country's fledgling military, as the Joint Command of Foreign Forces disbanded, leaving a vacuum for the terror outfit to fill in by force. A report.
The US and NATO closed their combat mission in Afghanistan on Monday, more than 13 years after invading the country. The NATO command, which began in the wake of September 11 terror attacks, was meant to target Al-Qaeda and trace dreaded militant Osama bin Laden. While the 5-year-old Taliban-led government was routed for sheltering terrorists, the US-led coalition went on to rebuild a country devastated by almost 30 years of war. The Afghan government and the departing troops have so far put a brave face on the security situation. But a rise in Taliban violence in the past 12 months has given Afghanistan its bloodiest year since 2001. It has stepped up attacks across the country under the shadow of a security vacuum. Taliban militants continue to target government buildings in southern Kandahar, the cradle of the hardline Taliban, even on Monday. A suicide bomber detonated his explosives-laden car at the main gate of a police headquarters compound, killing at least 10 people. 4 heavily armed gunmen later forced their way inside the building. About 4,600 members of the Afghan security forces have been killed so far this year, up more than 6% over the same period in 2013. NATO had last week chalked out a new training mission in Afghanistan, the Resolute Support Mission, which will be launched on January 1st. It will also maintain a force of 13,000 troops in the war-torn nation for the training purpose of Afghan forces to combat terrorism.
Pakistan continues to be in a denial mode despite mounting evidence regarding its open support to dreaded militant Hafiz Saeed. Islamabad said India's accusation of mainstreaming terrorism by siding with a designated terrorist was baseless.
Pakistan has rejected reports of militants based in the country being involved in the recent terror attacks in India's Jammu and Kashmir. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Tasneem Aslam claimed that India's accusations were baseless. Pakistan firmly rejects the baseless allegations about mainstreaming of terrorism. Pakistan has been in the forefront of combating terrorism and is also its biggest victim, Aslam said in a statement on Monday. The development comes days after India registered its strong protest against Pakistan government openly supporting banned terrorists. Reacting to Jamaat-ud-Dawa or JUD chief Hafiz Saeed's rally in Lahore, for which Pakistan Railways ran special trains, New Delhi had also said Islamabad had violated international conventions on designated terrorists. Saeed, also the founder of banned terror outfit Lashkar-e-Taiba, is one of India's most wanted terrorists. Despite mounting evidence and a $10 million bounty on him, Pakistan continues to be his safe harbour, giving Saeed free hand where he roams around making inflammatory speeches against the US and India.
Election fever has gripped Sri Lanka too, as 19 candidates, including incumbent President Mahinda Rajapaksa, submitted their nominations for the upcoming presidential polls. The island nation is gearing up to vote on January 8th.
Sri Lanka's Election Commission on Monday accepted the nominations of all 19 contenders for the upcoming presidential polls. While President Mahinda Rajapaksa is seeking re-election for a third term, former Health Minister Maithripala Sirisena, a consensus candidate of the United Opposition, is also expected to give a tough fight for the top job. 2 independents and 8 other former members of the current cabinet are also in the fray. President Rajapaksa said he was confident of being re-elected. Sri Lanka is going for fresh elections after incumbent President Rajapaksa called for snap polls in November, despite nearly 2 years left for his second term to end. The elections are also seen as a test of his falling popularity, especially among the Tamil minority in the country. This largely owes to the discontent among the ethnic group over the post-Civil War reconciliation, for which Sri Lanka has come under heavy international criticism.
The term of the Gilgit-Baltistan Assembly set up by the Pakistani government that controls this autonomous region comes to an end on Wednesday. But with no elections on the cards, many fear it might result in a constitutional crisis. Here is a report.
The Gilgit-Baltistan Assembly, which is set to complete its term, is already facing the heat. The Gilgit-Baltistan Council, which came into force in 2009, has failed at all levels. While the regional elected assembly did not have powers to make laws, the discrimination against the region for not having any right to legislate on its natural resources is seeing the discontent of the people here. The Gilgit-Baltistan law has no take on establishment of a caretaker setup that is supposed to oversee the next elections. Locals are opposing the Pakistani establishment for its continued denial of political rights. The Gilgit-Baltistan Empowerment and Self-Governance Order 2009, which was touted as the instrument to address the long-standing demands of people, has now turned out to be another gimmick by the Pakistani leadership.
Self-Governance Order 2009 के तहत पाकिस्तान पीपल पार्टी की हुकूमत ने गिलगित बल्तिस्तान को एक पहली मरतबा सूबाई तर्ज का सेटअप दिया। शुरू में जब ये सेटअप आया तो इस पर मुख्तलिफ़ किस्म के तहफ़्फ़ुज़ात का इज़हार किया गया, इसकी खामियों और कमज़ोरियों की निशानदेही की गई। बिलाशुबा इस सेटअप में बहुत सी खामियां भी हैं।
The ordinance announced by Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani in August 2009 had promised to give self-autonomy to Gilgit-Baltistan by restructuring an existing legislative setup. But it rigged the elections that followed by making sure no nationalist parties or leaders took part in the polls. The self-empowerment package is meaningless as long as Islamabad is unwilling to devolve powers to its elected representative.
यहाँ के अवाम को जो जेन्युइन अवाम है, अवाम ये तवक्कुआत कर रही थी और पाकिस्तान के जो ब्यूरोक्रेसी है, एस्टेब्लिशमेंट है, मीडिया के अंदर बड़ी इस जो है ना चर्चा किया गया इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे कि आया हमने इनको सेल्फ एम्पावरमेंट दी, हमने इनको दाखिली खुद मुख्तारी दी है। ऐसा कोई पब्लिक के लिए, अवाम के लिए ये कोई जो है डिलीवर करने में मुकम्मल तौर पर नाकाम है, क्योंकि अभी तक जो है तमाम तर इख्तियारात, तमाम तर ऑटोनोमस जो स्टेटस है वो अभी तक ब्यूरोक्रेसी के हाथ में है।
Most of the development projects launched by successive governments in the region remain incomplete due to alleged corruption by politicians and government officials.
India might be preparing for Christmas, but southern Andhra Pradesh broke into a different celebratory mode altogether. Take a look at how the festival of Blessed Virgin Mary was marked with gusto.
Devotion and joy engulfed India's southern coast of Visakhapatnam as the feast of the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Holy Mother of Jesus Christ, brought the city to a standstill. The day celebrates the belief of the Immaculate Conception of the Virgin Mary and kicks off the Christmas holiday season. The festival, locally called Amalodhavi Matha, marked the end of 9 days of celebrations as people took out processions amid reverence. Thousands of devotees who converged from across the country sought blessings of the Virgin Mary.
It is a celebration in honor of our Mother Mary, asking her to pray for us, pray for our society, pray for the church, Christians as well as non-Christians. May Mother Mary intercede before God, for our people, for all the devotees that come here today on this festival day.
The festivities commenced after offering prayers in the morning as a procession was taken out later in the day with the idol of Mother Mary holding infant Jesus. A large number of priests and nuns and other Christian devotees participated in the annual celebration considered as one of the most holy days of obligation in the Catholic calendar.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. Voters in India's Jammu and Kashmir defy terror threat, come out in large numbers in third phase. Imran Khan's PTI observed shutdown in Pakistan to protest killing of activist. And Gilgit Council a complete failure, say locals as Assembly completes 5-year term. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.